So guys, this is going to be one of them videos. Y'all set yourself down on the coffee table in the morning, fire up that YouTube and watch this video because it's long. I literally just ran out of room on a 32 gig SD card. Oh, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Got another Jesse here today. It's a 2007 Saturn Outlook, which is a GM basically. Flip that camera around here so I can see. Got it on a tow truck yesterday, or last night I should say. Since last night, that's what happened already. It lost probably about a quarter of a quart of transmission, what looks to be transmission fluid, I should say, since I really don't know until getting a lick on it. Just kidding. I went to a service call on this one here. I was going to jump the vehicle, but ended up my jump pack started beeping at me. So that being said, somewhere down the line it's got a dead short. I mean, goes without saying, you know, as soon as that jump pack shorts out, you know, and it starts beeping at you, that means generally what it's telling you, you got it hooked up backwards. But we wasn't hooked up backwards because these are really easy actually. They got a ground lug and they got the battery terminal here, which is already exposed because the lid's gone. The whole entire battery box is loose. The carriage underneath it, the aluminum carriage, has been unbolted, not being replaced. Vehicle is all tore up. They have already had the battery exposed, so all I had to do is take the battery cables off of it. I actually got my maintainer on it, using it to charge it. Probably shouldn't have done that, but anyway, I did. They're a little bit expensive to be doing shit like that, but anyhow, I'm gonna get a little bit something thrown on the floor here so I don't have to step in oil, track that stuff all over the place. I've got it racked up, and I guess I should finish the story. The conversation is something like, well, it had a battery light come on and something, and I told him, I said, you know, it's likely that you have lost the computer control to the alternator, or the alternator is bad, which that's the first thing, of course. You probably got a bad alternator and or lost control, the control part of it, the field control. But in any event, when I looked over here, and I'm gonna go ahead, man, that creates a shadow right there. That's why I ducked real quick. I thought the hood was coming down. It creates a shadow in my glasses. I thought there for a second the hood was coming down. If you look right here, that thing is soaked with oil. It's a leaking like no one's business. So that being said, put you back up here. Bins it is short, all the way shorted. We can do a couple of things real quick. I can take the terminal here off the starter. It's actually pretty simple to work on these here. And if we determine that's the problem, we're going to go ahead and do that. But I'm kind of hesitant to do that because now that the battery is charged up, I don't know what's going to happen if I try to connect the battery if it has developed a short. The battery wires, they're in a case running underneath, I think. I have to look. I didn't look at service information, not going to. Takes a few seconds to lift this thing up and have a peek where the wires are and what's going on. go up another notch or stop short there. I was wrong. I thought they were in a tray. Don't matter either way. I'm gonna look. Like I said, I'm gonna look underneath anyway. Just a few minutes. I moved that while ago, and we've already leaked a tremendous amount of transmission fluid. The cables on the emergency brake, those are hanging down. They're hanging loose. All kinds of good stuff wrong with this thing. Oh yeah, that thing here is leaking like crazy. Could be the case. It could be something else. And you know, we're not getting paid to mess with that. Everything here is hanging loose as far as the transmission cooler lines and all that good stuff. Do a quick inspection. I like to do that. I guess I could bring you guys along. Actually, I should have gone up another notch or two. So, oh, here's your leaks. I mean, it's just dripping the goodness, and that's all loose right there. You know, the engine oil is leaking like crazy, and I'm assuming, and that is me assuming. Well, looks like they did have some brake work done recently, but anyway, finish the story. I'm assuming the starter, not the starter, the alternator suffered from the oil, which is dripping right on top of it. In case any of you wondering what that rail is, that's actually bolted on the frame right there to protect that gas tank when the vehicle gets bottomed out. But right there, we got the hanging cables. Got that going on. It's of course no spare. You know, I always like to check and see what's going on. Yeah, they got the rears replaced as well. So, matter of fact, looked like they put a whole new assembly in here, but that's neither here nor there. We don't get paid to figure that one out. So we have no wires. You got right there, we see leak on the valve covers. So all of that is leaking, and we can see that. You know, I generally chalk that stuff down, stuff that I find like this, you know, write it all down and get stored in a database. So, and on this one here, the ignition, the lock cylinder, the key doesn't even fit in the ignition, and something about not having a key, but this key works and it needs to be programmed, and they're going to do that, and blah blah blah. I don't know, can't keep up with it. Anyway, we'll let it back down and see if we can figure out what's going on with the short. I'm going to be reluctant to get inside this vehicle. Right now, I'm just going to unbolt our alternator wire. Like I said, for right now, I'm going to unbolt the alternator wire, get that done first, and then I'm going to carefully try to put the post back on the battery and see what happens. It's hard to find the middle of these things anymore. Yeah, that ain't helping me much right there. A lot of times I don't even wear gloves anymore, but I'm going to use some gloves on this one here. As it would appear, it has finally turned summer. Now, see, it's pretty warm out there, humid as well, you know, as we would expect in this area, of course. And the reason I'm doing that is I have not verified anything on this vehicle, okay? So, to be clear about that, there is a lot of corrosion on this terminal. And as I mentioned, the battery is unhooked, so be mindful of that. A lot of times I'm guilty of not unhooking the battery when I do work like this. Cable was good and tight. Certainly not a problem there. Or, well, it could be a problem, but unlikely. Let's see if I get a power tool on that. I don't feel like cranking on this. Don't see evidence here that the fuse is bad or anything hitting ground. There's our wire coming to the firewall, of course. I should have looked at that earlier, I guess. But as I said, it's not a big deal because I always look at the vehicles anyhow. So I was going to go underneath no matter what. I got the lights on in the rear. The dash light is on. So I'll have to do a little bit more investigating on that one. I'm showing good voltage. The battery is new, and obviously our power has been restored. Now, there's something internally short. It's got a lot of corrosion on it. It's going to get cleaned up a little bit. So, I don't know what all that crap on here is, but anyway, might have got a little hot. I don't know. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. We did a little welding. Nah, just kidding. I barely touched it and it made that spark. Okay, so go ahead and leave that hanging right now. Like I said, I'm going to go ahead and clean that terminal back up. Bring you all along. I'm not going to mess around with it. I'm not going to do any more testing. That alternator right there, dead short. Doesn't matter. They opted to go with a junkyard unit. They didn't have anything else. So what we can do, I think, slip that up here on the ground pole, and this is the feed wire that hooks to the back of the alternator, and it's grounded. Alternator's grounded on that metal peg right there, so nothing. Okay, that's the way it should be. Quick test. It's oily as well. Of course, wouldn't be a GM product that didn't leak oil. Another observation, of course, that I made, in fact, they are correct. I don't know what they got going on, but we do have a security light on. I'm going to go ahead and try to program it. I better quit talking though. Get me a rag, wipe my hands off real quick, and go put the pull the terminal back off the battery before I forget, like I normally don't do. So anyway, I'm gonna pull the terminal back off. I'll put my cables back up, so since we have a good charge in the alternator right now. I don't even recall if I ever showed this, but over there on the wall, that is the unit that I use, and that's not actually a battery charger. That is a battery maintainer. I use it when I'm programming. It's clean current. It's made by PowerMax. They're a little bit cheaper than some of the other quote-unquote name brands. Somebody inquiring about doing an oil change. That's pretty adamant. That's pretty good, actually. He was worried about it because he said he's 4,000 miles over. Well, all I got to say is better late than never. I was wondering if somebody is open. I guess he normally uses Walmart, and since Walmart is all closed up, he can't find anybody that's open. And I told him, I said, in my area, you're not going to find anybody that's open. If I wouldn't have anything to do, I would have done it for him. But I don't lie to people. I told him that clean it up with a Scotch Brite pad, by the way. But anyway, I told the man that you know, I'm not going to take oil change over repair, since normally I don't do oil changes. I do it for the select customers that absolutely want me to do them, which I've got more than what I really want. Anyway, back to this alternator. It comes out of the top. I'm gonna have to, which I could have done that a while ago, I'm gonna have to lift up, get the plastic taken off the side here, and see to get on the belt tensioner, get that belt undone, get the bolts popped off, and I'll zoom you in when I do all that. But for the time being, I'm just gonna leave that sitting right as is. Heck, I got you zoomed in all the way still, don't I? Haha. Sorry about that. But anyway, I'll lift this up and see if we can undo that belt. Now, some of you guys might think I'm friggin' nuts for doing this, but I think I've mentioned that in other videos. You know, a lot of times when the vehicle is up that high, you know what I do, because I can. Now, the amount of work as far as bodily labor. Well, let's all look at this. You know, I got my my step stool. You know, a wide step stool, like 36 inches wide. I can drag it in here, work off of it, step up and down, because this is almost, well, it is too tall for me to reach down in there and be comfortable about it. So now let's just see how long it takes for me to pull them wheels off, So now I can drop that vehicle all the way down, and it's a lot more comfortable for me to work on it. So let's count her up. You know, I'm not hurrying. Standard pace. Loose lug nut. Loose lug nut. This one wasn't. Two loose lug nuts. Alright guys, done. So, that was what? Maybe 30, 45 seconds to get them off. And for one, wheel is out of the way, which you don't have to do that. But it's out of the way in the back, on the back end here, or on the bottom side of it, I should say, not the back end. But anyway, add another minute and a half or so to put them back on. I gladly do that, not to have to step down, up and down, and up and down on that stool. I don't like climbing on any damn thing anymore. A lot of the work that I do, as I've also said probably many times in the past, you know, I do a lot of the stuff to help people out. You know, people that obviously cannot afford to get their cars fixed, or maybe they don't want to, or whatever the reasoning may be. You know, I hope they are not able to, because I hate to do any favors to somebody that's not even trying to help themselves, you know. Our generation is a little bit different. We didn't do that. So anyway, now we're getting philosophical here, so have a peek right there and see what's going on. As far as belt tension and all that good stuff's concerned, oh my God. Holy moly. Why do I get the feeling there's some plastic missing here? I'm going to share this with you. That's kind of funny. You see, over the years, you see a lot of stuff. Check that out. It's kind of funny. It's kind of funny. I think it's true. That's pretty impressive right there. That is pretty impressive. Check this out. That's 1/4 inch, every bit of it. Like I said, I think there's a piece of plastic missing. I don't know. I thought the last one I did had a piece of plastic here to undo right there, but maybe not. I don't know. It don't matter either way. I figured I'd go ahead and share that part with you. Kind of funny, but I've got to go up a little bit more. I absolutely don't like to bend over. Many years ago I've had back surgery and my back is not getting any better, so I don't like to bend over. Right there's the, well, Hank. Dummy, I should have left that camera over there. I wasn't thinking to get you lower down. I'm going to show you the belt tension. That's stupid. I could have showed you that part of it. We'll go peek straight on up, and it's that guy right there. Let me change that light there. Right there, that guy right there. Half inch square. So that's what I'm after. Take it back over here. Like I said, I'll be sure to get you a shot from the top down when I take the alternator out. Let's see what I need here. Twice I did it. Damn. Idiot. Twice I hit my head now. But reason I had my head in there, I was looking down, or up actually. I was looking up on the pulley of the alternator, and don't know right off the top right now what the hose is. But there is a hose laying right up against it, and it's just about rubbed all the way through. So we'll investigate on that, see what that's all about. So basically, ladies and gentlemen, of course I realize that a lot of you guys wouldn't be able to do that, and I get that, but I can. So a lot of times I do. This actually not all the way down, but this here is a lot more comfortable for me now because I can get anywhere, and I mean, for 30 seconds worth of work, you know, call me crazy if you want to. I don't really care. I think the reservoir has to be moved. Anything that'll take only a few seconds to undo, I'm going to undo it. Heard me say that before? I know you have. It's going down there. It ain't locked into anything. Reservoir is out of fluid, I think. Where is my... Oh, come on now. Mix it in with the screwdrivers here. Possibility. There it is. Undo my little clip here. It's got a little bit of something in it. Actually, no, I take that back too. That's a lie. Doesn't have a little bit something in it. It's actually on the full mark, so I lied to you. Okay, so give you a little bit of a shot of this, hopefully. Let me get oriented here to where you can see it, right there. Okay, right there. See it right there, that pulley, the alternator pulley is rubbing on this hose right there, and that would be the return for the power steering. That's always good when you rub the return line in half. That's what everybody needs to do. No, just kidding, guys. You know I'm kidding. Now what I'm doing here is I'm trying to figure out if there is a location where I can mount this hose to. I'm a little bit dumbfounded because I don't see it. Now this vehicle has been touched, there's no doubt about that. A lot of things have been touched here, and I'm not 100% for sure. If somehow or another that hose got rerouted, And yeah, it's, oh yeah, it's paper thin. We're fixing to add some more oil to it. I'm talking the engine when that thing blows up, or revs in half. Don't blow up, it revs in half anyway. I don't see any kind of places where this could be tied up. There's no holes in the frame. There isn't anything. Of course, I don't have no way of looking that part up. The only thing that I know to do is pull the hose off. I'm gonna go ahead and pull the hose off the reservoir. Okay, the reservoir hose was probably not undone, but somebody must have put a radiator hose on it, and this probably what happened, because it's got a regular clamp on it, a regular screw type clamp, and what I'm assuming, that is the reason this whole bracket, lower bracket, was not bolted back on. And what they did is they put the radiator hose in front of this one, and that in turn must be pushing it over that way. That's the only thing that I can see. The real downside on this is I don't know how fast I'm going to be able to get something over the top of it. Jesus Christ. What a bunch of rigging. Man, you see all kinds of them. That was loose. The side mount here on the engine, part of the motor mount, it is completely loose. I mean, completely loose. That's the jingle. It's completely loose. I don't even know what to say. It's a shame that's all I can say. That people go, people that try to do stuff themselves and are unable to do that, and they try to save money by doing that, but in the long run, you're not saving nothing, because it would have been a major big deal going down the road, losing the return. All of that shit would float over your belts and everything. No telling what it would have done there. Furthermore, now you've got the fluid loss. Your steering rack's going to pump dry, probably do damage to it. No telling where this is going to happen. Driving, heck, you might be 30 miles down the road. Now you got no choice but to drive it, either drive it home or call a wrecker. So all this rigging that people do, come on guys, it's not worth it. It ain't worth saving $100 to have somebody do your work for you that knows what they're doing, that pay attention to what they're doing. You don't get this kind of crap. We don't do crap like this. Not ever, not on a bad day. A little bit of rant there, but I felt like that's something that should be said. You see too many people that want to work on their own stuff, and obviously they cannot. This is the stuff that you constantly run into. And here you are, you in all good conscience, I know these people can't pay me to fix all of it. I know they can't. But what do? You gonna leave it like that and walk away from it? Wash your hands of it? Well, I'm not getting paid for it. Piss on it, walk away. Hate to do that too. A lot of you guys know I generally hate to work with these rubber gloves. Your hands are sweaty, you get sweaty on the inside, and they're just tight on the hands. I like the string gloves a lot better. Had a pair laying out here somewhere. That's what I was looking for. It's a lot of talking going on. Sorry about that. Don't want to hear it. There is this little slider on the bottom of the video that you can just go ahead and fast forward. So again, set this in the past. Yeah, you can see that. Okay. I have set that actually many times in the past. If you not exactly for sure what it is you're trying to unbolt, what you can do is always make sure you have your part before you unbolt. So as you can see here, the alternator sits like this. 1, 2, 3. So now you know how many and the location. And the first two are just right on top. I'll go ahead and show that, I guess, if I hold the camera still enough. They're right there. The other one, well, it's just below it. And I might have made a mistake. I realized that. I wanted to do this from the top, but I may have made a mistake there. I probably should have pulled that off when I had the vehicle up in the air, but we're going to go ahead and do it like this. I'm assuming we can get it done. This is a 15 millimeter bolt head. Go ahead and grab a 3/8 drive. 15, like I said. Actually, these are not bolts, they're nuts. This juncture, I wouldn't doubt it that trying to loosen it. So it actually ran out of battery, but didn't miss anything. All I did, pick 2 nuts out. Actually lifted the vehicle back up. I started thinking about it. Came to me. It came back to me. The idler pulley. The idler pulley is your bolt. That's it. You got to take it off. You should do that from the bottom. Much easier to do it from the bottom. I mean, you can do it from the top, but it's easier from the bottom, in my opinion. You know, for whatever that's worth. Do it how you want to. You don't have to do it from the bottom, as I said. Anyway, all I did is I loosened it up. That's all I did. I did a little bit more checking on that hose to see if there's any points where I could tie it off on, and I hadn't seen anything yet. And to be honest, I haven't entirely made up my mind yet what I'm going to do. If I take that hose loose, you know, and reroute the hose like I think it's supposed to be in the first place, I think I'm going to end up making a mess with oil. And on one hand, you know, I hate to do that as well. Something's got to be done, though. I mean, we almost can't leave it like that. I got a pair of Nipex over here that I loosened that stud up, followed up by a ratchet. I don't try to take them out with the ratchet. Lots of times you're going to end up rounding the stud on the end. I don't want to round anything off. Anything I round off, you gotta fix it, of course. Alright, I don't know if I'm going to get on that or not. With the power tool, I don't think so. I may be able to, I don't know. No. Definitely don't want to round that thing off. And get them studs out of the way. Put a little universal on it. Actually, what you should be using is a universal that goes on an impact. Much easier. And the best that I can remember, she should come right on out. Go by them studs. Same thing. Lay the alternator back down. I'm going to switch to a different style. I don't like these universals right here. I'm going to go ahead and get a socket instead. I'll end up getting mad at myself for not doing it. Six mil. These here don't fold out on you. That's why I said that. Oh, not 6 mil, 7 mil, you dummy. Now these can only fold out so much, so you're not going to lose the whole thing. Yeah, you guessed it. Forgot to reverse the ratchet. Better get it started a little bit better than that. So, to explain this, these type of bolts here, whenever you see them, got an itch, try to wipe my sweat a little bit. When you see these type of bolts here, they got a shoulder here, and I just latched on it with the pliers. I had a sneaking idea they was going to be in there too tight to use a 7 mil that goes in the end of here. A lot of times you see these things get rounded off. That one here luckily is not rounded off yet. Somebody started to round that off, but thankfully they quit. And when you put them back in, keep in mind that the threads actually go into the aluminum body, and you kind of locking them in when you're jamming that nut on it. You kind of pulling all of it tight together. So these don't have to be tightened, you know, you don't have to tighten the crap out of them. You can leave them in there fairly loose. And when I say fairly loose, I mean just barely run them up with that 1/4-inch tool, and that's perfectly acceptable. That's where a lot of people run into trouble. See, as soon as it starts to tighten up, I'll let off, done. You know, we're going to lock it in anyway. I think the bottom side is drilled just big enough. You run these two nuts up, it's easier to start the bottom, so you don't have to mess around trying to find the bolt hole. Now I'm not going to snug them up. All I'm going to do is put it on there by hand, make sure it's shouldered out and it's square. And hopefully that will enable us to get the bolt back on the bottom. This is kegged on very thick. I'm sure that it probably ran inside of it. We're actually ready to get the vehicle up a little bit, go under there and bolt the pulley back up, which the pulley is the bolt that bolts the lower part of the alternator back up. So theoretically they can't leave them out because that's your idler pulley. So the biggest problem with oil that's kegged on an engine, the way this one here is, it is hard to see any kind of bolts because everything is black, everything is the same color, and the buildup was already over the top of the bolt. As it is down here, like I showed you a while ago, you know, you got all this buildup, you got everything is black. Even with a good light, you have a hard time seeing because everything is blending together. I guess at this point in time, it'd be a good idea to take a listen to the idler, make sure it ain't crap. Dripping on me here. All that goodness is dripping right on me. I went ahead and tried to clean it up best I could. I hit it with some brake cleaner. I took the end of the bolt, just the end of the bolt. I went over there to the bench grinder and rounded it just a little bit in the very front. Oh man, it's still nasty. I started looking at it and it had all that gunk on it, all that gunk going right on that belt. I didn't like that. That's what I need. Belt coming off, ripping it, be here even longer. Anyway, as I said, I'll shove that in here. That's a little tool right here. It's got a hook on the end of it that's slightly more than 90 degrees, and I can use that hook to manipulate a belt. Nasty. I don't think a ratchet will fit, but I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot. See if the ratchet will work. If the ratchet works, it might be a little bit easier for me. And I don't think it will. Yes, it does. I was incorrect on that one too. I seem to be wrong a whole lot today. I don't know. Don't fall off, don't fall off, don't fall off. I think I got it back on there. If not, I guarantee we can hear it. So that one should be wrapping that part of it up. That's the hard part. I'm gonna go ahead and change gloves. This is crazy. We'll go ahead and wash my arms a little bit. It's just nuts. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and tighten them two 15mm nuts back up, or 15mm headed nuts back up, and that's pretty much that for the top here. I'm going to plug our control wires back in, bolt the battery wire back up, and after that, stay tuned for some, well, they said that was a new chip key, so we'll go ahead and put the machine on it and see if we can get the keep programmed up, hook the battery up, and hopefully ship it. Gonna put a lot of content in the video. It's gonna be a little bit longer, but what the heck, you quarantined anyway. So the other day, the salesman from Kimball Midwest, he contacts me, wants me to sell some stuff. I think I got a video about it already. But anyway, this is the super duper hand cleaner, and I'm gonna tell you, this shit here is not worth, I mean, it wasn't even worth hanging on the damn wall. The crap don't clean nothing. You've got to use a half a gallon of it to get a little bit of black off your arms. I've been using it for quite some time now. Well, not quite some time, several weeks, that is, anyway. I mean, regular old Dawn dish soap does the same thing that stuff right there does. And let me tell you, if you ever decide you're going to go with their soap, and well, now I'm not going to even tell you. I'm not going to tell you. We'll do something better. Well, I'm sorry. I guess I'm not going to show you. I was actually going to show you, but what I got over there is in fact not a receipt. It's actually a bill. It's not a bill. It's a packing slip. Sorry, I'm spitting it out here in a minute. But it's a packing slip. So I get the bill. You know, I told them I wanted one of their hand cleaners, and I could already add in there that they sent me the better stuff. Okay, so I wanted one of their hand cleaners. Rather expensive. It was like, I think $28 or whatever, plus tax, of course, for a gallon of the hand cleaner. You know, you go to the parts store, you get the Gojo Orange. Generally, our area, $16, $15-16 for a gallon, I think it is. You know, it lasts me quite a while, so I don't generally use that much of it. It's just me. And so I get the bill, and I bought 2 cans of some penetrant. He swore up and down it freezes and it flows in there. Of course, I think I got that on the video. It don't do jack. You know, you can't get a penetrant that goes into a rusty fastener because, well, they just don't. There's no magic in a can, no such a thing. You know, I told him I've been using heat for eons, and guess what? Heat works every time. And I thought, I tell you what, I said, man's got to eat. So I went ahead, I ordered a can of the spray grease, a can of the spray penetrant. Now I will say this, I absolutely love the smell of it. It smells fantastic. If it does do nothing at all, the smell is A-okay. But the hand cleaner right there, guys, $38 some odd a gallon, and they sent me a friggin' case. So the bill was like almost $150 tax and all. I called him up. I said, what's going on here? I said, I'm talking to the guy, and we was talking about this hand cleaner, which was already high at $28. I said, now I got a can here that's like $38 a gallon. I said, that's just nuts. I said, I put it on the wall. I use a little bit of it. I don't see it being worth $10. Well, you have to contact your salesman. So I did. So anyway, I'm going to end it right here, guys. I don't need to forget doing that, but I just wanted to add that in there, and I'm going to add that in there because that's been something that needs to be said. You know, if I can save you guys from buying that crap, and it really is crap, you know, it's well worth it if you don't buy it. I mean, the stuff is not worth bringing home. It really isn't. Of course, it was shipped to the door. That is an added convenience, you know. And if it was a little bit more reasonable in the price, you know, I say okay. The fact that you know that you don't have to go anywhere, they ship it to the door. But heck, that's a norm anymore anyway. You know, no matter where you go, a lot of people offer free shipping on stuff. So, whatever. Anyway, I better put on some rubber gloves though. We're not done making a mess. Go ahead and get those on. I actually hate them things. They're tight on the hand, and you know, I buy the extra large. I've never seen them advertise extra large. If they do, I don't know about it. You know, can't find them in our local area. And make matters worse, I think these here from Harbor Freight and these Chinese got small hands anyway. I think their extra large would be our medium. But these things are tight, you know, and stretchy, and I generally don't like that. But anyway, get this crap here tightened up. Not everybody is going to agree on these things, you know. I realize that. You can't please everybody. Put the terminal back on. Slip the rubber cap back over it, of course. Goes without saying. I'm going to slip that rubber back over top of it so nothing arcs out. Got to fish my overflow line back out. I kind of tucked it away. And I finally come to the conclusion back here on the fan. It's far enough, the ribs that come down off the fan where the fan guard is. I think it's heavy enough there. I'm just going to get a couple of zip ties and hold that hose off of there, and we're going to call that a day. I'm not going to make a mess. I'm sorry, you know, I'm going to draw the line somewhere, and I'm going to draw the line right here. I'm not going to make a mess pulling that hose off. I know I'm going to lose the whole entire content. I'm not going to do that. You know, like I said, they're not going to want to pay me for it, so no asking necessary. We'll invest these two zip ties here, get around the heavy part of the webbing, and pull this hose back, and that should keep it off. Let me get this done. Actually, of course, the gloves are already black again. So is my arms. I'll show you what I did here. You can see it, I guess. We'll flip that around, but I just went ahead and held that hose right there. These are pretty sturdy here. I mean, I'm really pulling on it and it doesn't even move, so I think it's fine. I'm gonna leave it like that. That's better than it rubbing on the belt. I really did not see any mounting points on the side right there, or I went ahead. I had to get the content off the SD card, put it on the computer, and what I use is IM508 Maxis Maxi IM508. I'll get that right here in a minute, but this is what I use to do this kind of stuff. This here is just a matter of plugging it in, let that go to the immobilizer, 12 minutes, and then you program all your keys in the ignition. That's all you got to do. This key here not belonging to this vehicle, but as you can see, I don't want to leave that vehicle running. There's with it using that much oil, I don't want to take a chance here, because I don't want that damn thing to lock up in my shop, you know. Well, the good news is it is full. And I'm sure as much as it's leaking, they probably keep filling it up. The only thing that remains now And I can already tell you, I'm not going to do a full-on alternator test on this thing. I'm going to check voltage and we're going to ship this thing. Now that I know that there's oil in the engine, I don't mind starting it up. The belt didn't fly off of it. Okay, 14.4. This thing sounds like hammered hell, so I'll turn it right back off. This is all I'm going to do. My tool back down here. Yeah, an alternator can still be bad putting out voltage. That should be about the right amount of voltage coming out of it for charging this battery at its stage. I'm not going to worry about it. I will worry about it if they tell me to worry about it. Like I said, it was made pretty clear. Sometimes you just don't, you know, sometimes you don't go way beyond what you're supposed to, you know. I have a ton of customers that don't care. They you know, I don't 9 times out of 10, if it's minor stuff, I won't ask them. I'll just go ahead and fix what needs to be fixed. They trust me 100% on it. You know, you just give them the bill and they pay up, and that'll be the end of it, you know. Of course, it'd be itemized. Of course, I talk to them naturally, you know. If I replace something, I give them the part. Always do that, you know. Try to, when you're doing repair, you know, I found out the best thing to do is, if you're replacing parts, hand the parts to the customer. You know, if they don't believe you, they can always turn around and try it out themselves. They can plug in and replace part or something like that if they wanted to. I mean, not that they would, but I'm saying they could. And not to mention, you know, it says a little something when you hand somebody a part back. It just helps, you know. Years of experience, you know, some like it will help. Or ask them if they want them. You know, a lot of them. Like I said, a lot of people that I do work for, they don't care. You know, they say, I don't want that. Throw that shit away. I mean, you know, as far as that's concerned, yeah, that's not an issue. But you should offer it. That'd be a good thing to do. You know, prove your parts out. I do it all the time. But anyway, that's either here nor there, guys. Like, subscribe, do whatever it is you do. That video is already long enough. I'm going to cut her off right there. Anyway, like you see, key is programmed. We put an alternator on. The alternator is producing voltage. Not saying much, I know that. But anyway, there you go. That was the job description. Hopefully that'll help you. This one here, fairly easy, fairly straightforward. Anybody can do that at home. So, like, subscribe, do what it is you do. Till next time.